Welcome to Useful Black Ops 7 Information. In this video, I will teach you a ton of things that I've learned about Black Ops 7 in the almost 3 weeks that this game has been out. I'll show you the easiest ways to take out the Zersa, how to permanently despawn the Zersa, how to get great loot on round 1, side quests to get guaranteed wonder weapons, and more. So if you watch this video and you learned something, make sure you drop a like so you can tell YouTube that you learned something, so they know to push this video out to more Black Ops 7 players so they can learn some useful BO7 information as well. And also, click that subscribe button too. YouTube tells me that 77% of you are not subscribed. And if we could get even 5% of you that aren't subscribed to subscribe, then we will hit our goal for 50,000 subscribers. So if you want to help us get to 50k, click the subscribe button. And with that being said, let's jump into the useful information. When you first load in a game of Ashes of the Damned, or Farm for that matter, there are these green pods around the map. If you grab one of the plenty of spray cans around the map, then when you spray this, it'll start a mini defense from the zombies. If you can fully defend this, then it'll give you some pretty good loot, but unfortunately, it can be pretty challenging at times to defend this. To ensure that the zombies won't be able to attack it, simply pop toxic growth on top of it before you spray it. While toxic growth is covering it, it'll make it so no zombies can attack it, so it can easily charge all the way up and give you some really good loot like tier 2 pack-a-punch crystals, ether tools, and high rarity weapons as early as round 1. But the free loot doesn't stop there, because around the map in the fog, you can find these purple crystals. You gotta break one of these crystals with Tessie for a serum part for the Easter egg, but after you get that part, you can find more of these crystals around the map and continue to break them. And these crystals, when destroyed, will also give you some really good loot like free salvage, free perks, and there's even a decent chance that you can get the ray gun completely for free just by breaking one of these crystals. Also, here's a bonus tip for these crystals. Most people know that you can break it with the abomination beam, but you can also destroy these with the Wonderwaff turret. There are a decent amount of augments this year that will seriously help you when you play. For example, Turtle Shell on Juggernog is an absolute beast of an augment and will now act like a zombie shell from the older games, with it negating 100% of your damage taken from behind and making your armor take all the hit, and also it will give you the normal armor damage mitigation when you get hit from the front. This augment is all around really incredible, but especially in moments where you gotta stand still like repairing Tessie in the boss fight, this augment will help so much it is not even funny. Stuntman on PhD is another really good one, because when paired with toxic growth, you can camp in the jail cell next to Klaus and spam these two things for a really easy high round. Armormatic on Vulturade is another really good augment, especially if you hate replating your armor, because it'll automatically replate any armor plates that you pick up and automatically put it back on your armor bar. I personally don't mind replating, but I know a decent amount of you absolutely hate it. So if you hate replating, make sure you go unlock this. And the final really good augment I'll show you is another one that a lot of people love already, which is Equivalent Exchange on Quick Revive. This is basically self-medication from BO3 if you remember that. When you go down, the game will give you a pistol, or if you have a ray gun in your inventory, then it will give you that. And once you deal enough damage while you're down, then Quick Revive will revive you with all of your perks and your self-revive as well. You can do this up to 3 times a game to save all of your perks when you're down, and in turn, save a ton of points on rebuying them. But with as crazy as this is, shh, don't tell Treyarch, but I found some tricks you can do with this. Sorry, I'll stop whispering now. First off, you can waste an equivalent exchange use to reset your perk prices. When you buy perks in this game, the first one is always 2,500, the second one is 3,000, and every subsequent perk gets 500 points more expensive than the last one. This means that by the time you're buying your last couple perks, it can cost you upwards of 8,000 points per perk. But if you buy like 5 or 6 perks and then down yourself and revive with equivalent exchange, when you get back up, you can go back to the Wonder Fizz, then you will see that all of your perk prices reset and you still have your perks. With this, you can finish buying the rest of your perks for much cheaper. And the other exploit I have is to create a save file whenever you want. In Black Ops 6, if you didn't know, if you died, then if you were quick enough, you could Alt F4 or close your game, and when you reloaded your game, the game would create a save file for you at the start of the round that you were currently on. You could use this to get a second chance in a boss fight, for example. Unfortunately, Treyarch did patch this in BO7, but thankfully, Equivalent Exchange offers a slight workaround. If you use all your Equivalent Exchange uses, while you're down, you can Alt F4 or close out your game to get your save file just like BO6 to boot back in at the beginning of that round. I don't know if Treyarch will, or honestly can patch this, but if they do, I will update it in the pinned comment, but as for now, take advantage of this while you can. Real quick, let's talk about farm. This is one that I didn't even want to include because honestly, like the last tip, there's a very strong chance that Treyarch Perk ends up patching this. But then again, this game has been out for 3 weeks and we've known about it since day 1, and it still hasn't been patched, so maybe not? But regardless, there is a really easy camping spot you can do for some easy high rounds, or to grind the camos on their really annoying weapons. Come to the top of the house and farm, and camp in this corner where you can drop down. Sitting here will make all the zombies in the map jump up right in front of you so you can easily pick them off. If something happens you get overran here, then you can either turn your back with turtle shell, or back away from this hole for a couple seconds to make them drop back down, and then go right back in the spot when you're ready to continue. Jumping back to ashes, around the map, just like on BO6, you can find free power-ups. The max ammo is next to quick revive and spawn in this ceiling. The insta-kill is on top of this silo at farm, and by the way, you can also grab this one in survival. The max armor drop is on the terminus ship in between farm and Ashwood in this blue crate. The nuke you can shoot at the top of the church in Ashwood like so. For the full power, go to the Cosmodrome, and you can find it outside of the map over here. And just FYI, to shoot this one, you'll have to shoot it in between the guardrails here to hit it, because just shooting it through the holes won't work. The free bonus points is under this car on the highway at Diner, and the double points is really hard to see. You can shoot it from this specific cabin in the fog in between the lake and Ashwood, and if you come up the stairs in here with a sniper, you can barely see the double points here right where I'm aiming. And finally, only once you grab all of these power-ups, you can find a free fire sale in the ceiling of the cabin at the lake. Now let's go over a tip for the Easter egg, which, by the way, if you still need help beating it, the link to my guide is on the screen right now. A ton of people in the comments told me how my guide helped them beat this Easter egg, so if you still need help beating it, make sure you go watch it after this video. But let's start with Respawn of the Lightning for the Diner step. In the Diner, there are 3 poles that will spark one at a time. There's one pole near both exits out of the Diner, and the third one is in the middle next to this arrow. If you shoot all 3 of these poles with the Wonder Waff to make them spark, then the lightning for this step will reappear. You can do this as many times as you want to get this step done in just 1 round. Another tip I have for this Easter egg is with the big bear himself, Zersa. On the serum step, if you don't know, as long as you didn't get limbs, then you can do this step way before round 16 and completely skip the Zersa part. But let's say you got bad luck and you got limbs in your code. Well, lucky for you, you still don't have to get to round 16 to get a bear to spawn. Once you get the Wonder Weapon, come to the Cosmodrome and shoot and recall your Wonder Weapon at these 3 skulls that I show you. The first is in this zombie spawn under the rocket. The second you can get by going down the right zip line here, and it's outside of this window. This one is really hard to see, but trust me, if you line up where I shoot and recall your Wonder Weapon, then you should see it start glowing. And the third and final skull is right over here, and it is outside of the map under this wall by. Once you light up all 3 skulls with the Wonder Weapon, a Zersa will spawn that you can use to get your limbs part on as early a round as you can get the Wonder Weapon. And sticking with the Zersa, people think that he's a bullet sponge, but he actually has quite a few weaknesses. For starters, like every other enemy in modern zombies, the Zersa is weak to ammo mods. Both Napalm Burst and Brain Rot would deal a ton of damage to him. This also means that stuff like Molotovs and Toxic Growth are also really good for taking them out. Additionally, the Mangler Cannon is really good for taking them out. And finally, the Casimirs are my personal favorite. If you throw one near a Zersa, then not only will it deal a ton of damage to it, but it'll also make it stand still, allowing you to very easily get a bunch more damage on him, and you should be able to take him out before the Casimir goes away. And with these 4 ways to take him out, you shouldn't ever struggle with him again. And one more Zersa tip I have, and this also goes for the Doppelgas, but this next tip only works in curse mode. If you do the relic challenges that each enemy is tied to, then you can actually despawn them for the rest of the game. So for the Doppelgas, damage it just a little bit, and then lure him to a jump pad, and when he's on it with you, use the jump pad to kill him with it, and that should complete the challenge, and now a Doppelgas will never spawn for the rest of the game. And with the Zersa on round 40 or above, you want to get a low health and kill it with a melee attack and pick up the bottle it drops. Once you pick up this bottle, then the Zersa step is now done, and now for the rest of the game, no more Zersas will spawn either. Like I said, this works for both of these enemies, but there is something you got to keep in mind with this, and that is if you save and quit your game after you do this, then it'll revert this and spawn back in the enemies. And sticking with curse mode, the shotguns are really good for grinding points. This is because Cursed has World War II's point system, not BR3's where you get 10 points per hit, but it has World War II's point system where you get 10 points per any bit of damage caused by any gun. This version of the point system will make it to where you get 10 points per pellet per shot. So if a shotgun shoots 6 pellets in a shot, for example, then that means that it can get you up to 60 points per zombie per shot, which makes the shotguns overall, but especially the Akita, really good for grinding points. And one more curse tip I have for you is with the bus relic. To get the portal portal to spawn for this relic, you gotta get to round 60 and complete the entire round with only using the traps. This can be tedious to do, especially on round 60. So instead of doing this for 5 minutes, or waiting for a Ravager round, get to the end of the round and grab a timeout. Yes, I know, the most useful red gum ever. Once you have it, end the round and then immediately pop your timeout, and it should end the round that you just flipped to and automatically flip you to the next one, which will spawn the portal for this challenge, allowing you to spawn it in much easier. And finally, did you know you could get the Rhaegar Mark II completely for free? Now, with as great a thing as this is, first things first, I gotta say, this is a pretty annoying quest to do, and on top of this, you can't save and quit your game at any point while doing this, or else it'll glitch out this entire Easter egg and you have to reset and do it again in another game to try it again. But if you really want the Mark II and you can't pull it from the box, then this is how you get it every single time. To start it, turn on all 3 powers in the map and also get to round 13. You can do this after round 13, but just don't start this before round 13 because the reward that you get won't give you the Mark II. On rounds 13 and above though, you want to use all 7 launch pads around the map in any order. On screen right now are all 7 locations with lines showing you where each jump pad takes you. That way you can just do a really simple loop. Once you've used all 7, you want to go to spawn and wait 4 rounds. 4 rounds later, this light in spawn will start blinking. This light will blink a certain amount of times and then stop, and then blink a second set amount of times and stop, and it'll do this 7 times. You want to count how many times the light blinks before it stops for a brief second and write that number down. After it shows you 7 different numbers, it'll give you a long flash to show it's resetting. So in this gameplay, I got 3, 6, 5, 7, 4, 1, and 2. So now I gotta go around the map and use these launch pads in that exact order. The way you know which launch pads are which is because they are actually numbered on the back of them. So that's how you can tell, but with that being said, the cheat sheet on screen has all 7 jump pads numbered for you, and they also show where they take you as well. And also I should say, once this light starts blinking, do not use another launch pad unless I tell you to. This is because, again, this quest is pretty glitchy, and if you use a jump pad outside of your code, then it could glitch out and you'd have to reset. And finally, before you start this, make sure you're at least on round 18, because if you do this before round 18, you will not get the Mark II. To start your code, it'll always start with either 3 or 7, which are the 2 at Ashwood, and it'll make you do a loop around half of the map and return to Ashwood, and then it'll make you use the other launch pad at Ashwood and do a second loop around the other half of the map and return to Ashwood. The final launch pad that you take will take you back to Ashwood for a second time. Once you use all 7 jump pads in the same order of your code, do not use another jump pad, because if you do, then you'll have to flip another 4 rounds to get a new code from the light. Also, if you want to make sure you did this step right, you can return to spawn and the light will actually stop blinking. If it's not blinking anymore, then you did it right. So finally, to get your free Mark II, you want to look around the map in the air for a purple portal. It can spawn in literally any jump pad path around the map. So get in Tessie and drive around the map until you see a purple portal in the sky. Get on the launch pad next to it and line yourself up with it and see if it looks like you're lined up and you'll run into it. This is because you have to take the exact portal the game wants you to. And if you use a different one, then the portal will disappear, and again, you have to flip another 4 rounds to do this again. So for example, if I line myself up with the portal in between Diner and Cosmodrome, and I line myself up with the jump pad at the Diner and it doesn't look lined up, then that means that the jump pad I should take is the one going from Cosmodrome to the Diner. Once you have the right jump pad, go ahead and use it, and if you use the right one, you will go into the purple portal and respawn at Ashwood with a bunch of free loot, and as long as you're on round 18 or above, then you will also get a free Rhaegar Mark II every single time. I know that this is a really annoying quest to do, but the Rhaegar Mark II is at this point in time the best weapon for the Ashes boss fight, even better than the Wonderwaff turret. So I honestly think that if you can't pull this from the box and you're still struggling to beat this, then this is worth doing for that extra help. So there was your useful COD Zombies information. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like and also subscribe. If you want more COD Zombies tips from me, then click this playlist on the screen right now to go watch all of the useful COD Zombies information videos that I've made. Shout out to my members, thank you all so much for supporting me, and huge shout outs to the new members, Almighty Loaf, John Archer, RTP, Miniman, 1010, and LAB, I think. Thank you guys so much for becoming members. I really appreciate it. Enjoy your members only videos, your members only badges, all that fun stuff. Thank you all so much for watching, and with that being said, I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.